So here is the pond the morning after I did my potassium permanganate treatment. On top you'll see that there's foam, like little bits of foam, but it's not the typical white foam. This is more brownish because the potassium permanganate, it oxidizes all the little particles inside the pond, so it lifts it up and it creates this little bit of foam, right? It will eventually dissipate and either get into the skimmer or maybe it breaks apart and just sinks to the bottom, and that's not a major concern for me on top of the pond. But as a result of using potassium permanganate, all the brown little particles, it gets onto the screen of my drum filter, and then it does make the filter less efficient in some way. Although one can argue that the tiny little things that get onto the screen will actually make it a better fine filter, but I think after a while I will have to clean this up because it's just not the way it should be. So I'm going to try this by using a combination of vinegar and just some plastic brush. So I'm going to try and see if it actually works. If it doesn't, then what I have to do is use muriatic acid and then clean it. I think this is a little bit easier, but if it doesn't work, then we have to change method. As you can see, it does come off a little bit, so that's a good sign. Maybe this brush is not that great. There we go. So I'll go ahead and clean this off. I think the bristle on this brush is a little too hard and it's not as fine, so I think I have to go find something a little finer. Yeah, because I don't like the sound that it's making, and I'm afraid that if I brush too hard, it might puncture the screen, so I'm going to go ahead and get something different. Well, since I can't find anything finer on a short notice, I'm going to use an old toothbrush that needs to be replaced anyways. See this? I like the way it sounds. I feel like this is a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and actually it's doing a pretty good job. There's a big difference between the area that's clean and the area that's not, you see? So I'm going to go ahead and do all of this. Yep, yeah, looks nice. Well, it is not the best cleaning job, but it's better than where it was 5 minutes ago. So the hardest part now is trying to see if I can get the screen to rotate so that I can clean the rest of it. Let me see if I can turn this. Yeah, see, it's very difficult. So obviously when you do a full cycle, it's not going to help because it's just going to rotate straight to the same spot. Alright, so let me see. So here's the problem. I'm going to do a manual cycle. Well, actually, oh, you know what? There we go. I think I set the drum to be a little over 20 seconds, so it's not rotating to the same spot. Oh, that's lucky. Okay, so that means I can spray the rest. Yep, I'm gonna spray the rest and clean it out and see if it helps. So, see that? The clean part is here. Obviously you can see, and then here's the dirty part. So, still got a lot of surface area here to clean up. This is good. Well, I've been scrubbing. This is the third segment of this drum, and the result is not that great. Either I got the wrong brush, or the vinegar is not strong enough, or maybe the buildup has been left on here for too long, which makes it harder to clean. So I think for the last segment, what I'm going to do is use muriatic acid to see if it actually helps or make it cleaner, because you see it's not a big improvement. I mean, there's a noticeable difference, but I was hoping to bring it back to like a stainless look, but I'm getting a brownish look here still. So okay. So here's the acid. You can kind of see that there's some steam coming out of it, the vapor, and that's pretty toxic. So let's try to avoid it. Luckily the wind is blowing it that way, so I'm okay. So I got some on the brush. Let's see what happens. Oh my god, it's a big difference. Oh, it's so much better. Holy cow. Oh wow. Oh yeah, this is the right stuff. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, so all that time I was spending on vinegar, that was pointless, because this is so much better. Look at the difference. Wow. Okay, alright, there you go. So this is actually the right stuff. Looks like I found the right way to clean this, because that looks brand new. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of it right now. So there's a drastic difference between using this acid versus vinegar. Now obviously this is just a much stronger, more potent form of the same, like similar stuff, but look at it, it's so much easier. So I was scrubbing earlier, but now what I do is I just dab the acid and I just kind of brush it over, and then it just works its way down and through the screen. So there's a lot less work too. Look at that. Sometimes you just gotta have the right tool for the job. So in this case, the right chemical for the job. Not as friendly as vinegar, because that vapor is nasty, but I can smell it. So sometimes I have to stand out a little bit and just hold my breath when I go in. I think this has got to be one of the most satisfying, like before and after cleaning job that I've ever done. Look at the difference. It's just, it's so clean, and it's, oh my goodness, it's just so satisfying watching the difference. Look at this right here. It's brand new. Seriously, look at that. This was pretty tedious, but now, seeing this result, it just, yes, wow. That right there. Oh my goodness. So I've tried this with bleach before too, and it didn't work that well. This was basically the last chemical that I wanted to use, simply because it's just too strong. But I've used it in the pool before to balance out the pH. So man, it's so satisfying watching it just evaporate all the brown stuff. Look at that. My goodness. And the best part is, I'm only smearing the brush over the screen. I'm not putting a lot of pressure, I'm not doing a lot of work. The chemical is doing the work. Yeah, I think this is probably one of the best looking before and after I've ever seen so far. It's great. Alright. Voila, 15 minutes later, completely brand new looking. Awesome. But I think next time I'm gonna put it into the little sprayer and then just spray it, because it'll be a lot faster. Probably cut it down to like less than 5 minutes. Just spray, rotate, spray, and rotate, and brush if needed. But that is really impressive. Man, the right chemical just works wonders. Look at that. That's brand new. Wow. Okay, well, that's good. What I really hate is the fact that my water level is a lot lower than the line. And it's not because of, well, I guess you can blame on slightly overlooking the amount of drawdown that I had, but I tried everything. I still can't fix it. I think I had too many pumps pumping on one side and only 2 bottom drain, as you can see. So that's a problem right there. Technically 2 bottom drain is way more than sufficient for a pond this size. It's only about 3,500 gallons total. But because I'm using 3 pumps and very low head pressure on the pumps, therefore it's sucking in a lot of water. So the 2 4-inch bottom drains just not enough to feed it. Can't do much about it now. I mean, it works perfectly. It just, I kind of wish, you know, you get a few of those extra inches right there, right? And just a friendly reminder, when you close the lid on this drum, make sure that the 2 screw is aligned with this sensor right here. Sometimes you put it out and then you just put it back and you forget to do it, and suddenly your whole thing turns off because it assumed the lid was open, so the drum doesn't spin when it cleans, and then all the water gets sucked out, and then, you know, the shut-off valve just kicks in. So remember, the screws line up with the sensor.